Welcome one and all to RaceFace.Pro Season 17 Race 3 at Watkins Glen in New York. I wish I could say it's sunny New York, but we'll be having some random weather tonight and we could have a bit of a wet one. As the guys were saying in the chat earlier, a wet race is always a better race. It'll be a 90-minute race with a 15-minute quali. That's already 1.5 minutes in, and we'll be keeping an eye on everyone and see how they perform. Everybody's still on the out laps. Some have started their fast laps maybe. Currently on board with Jonathan Chislett as he's about to go around for his first lap. Quite a technical course with some nice long high-speed corners, some infamous chicanes, and a long back straight that Jonathan's on right now, coming up to the tricky chicane. And because we're racing the GP circuit, we'll definitely go around the famous boot, which can also be a bit tricky at times. Coming up to the heel of the boot. Three more corners. And we should see the first time on the board. Here we go, 1:47.5, and the time should drop quite a bit. There we go, 1:46.2, another 1:46. We're down to the 1:46.1s already, and the times are dropping quickly. You can see Robert Klopstra just put up a really good time in the Porsche. Some of the other drivers will be looking to improve on that for sure. See Jakob Kutzer currently in second position in a McLaren 177 on a bright tiger type livery, currently on a 0.3 second delta on his previous fastest lap, so he's definitely improving. Also see Hyo Muton, the winner of last week's race, currently in 5th, already improving on that lap. We should see him jump up a position or two as well. Arne Kroos in a beautiful livery Porsche, currently in 6th. Had some excellent battles last week on track, hoping to see more of that this week. Saying that, Robert Klopstra's on another fast lap, and he just pips Jakob Kutzer in front of him, who just put up the fastest lap and held that pole position for about half a second. This is already promising to see quite a few great battles on track. Alex Petro and the most beautiful, brightest colored Lamborghini you will see. Certainly exciting to see that come up in your mirror, although the front end is pretty white. It's more for the spectators than the other cars on track. Coming up to the toe of the boot. See in the comments some guys would love to race tonight, but Escom chucked a spanner in the works. Sorry guys, would like to see you on track. Thanks for watching the stream at least. You can scope out the competition or the teammates. There's Alex coming around the last corner. 146.7 stays in 10th position. Brendan Fenter in the BMW, still rocking the Portuguese flag. I'm sure there's some story behind that. I should look at that, but it looks like he just tapped the outside wall on the exit. They could either keep him track limits if it's hard enough, or just take off enough speed so he can't actually put up a better lap time. I do see his network connectivity is fairly high, and I wonder if he is actually in Portugal. If anybody on the stream knows, I'd love to find out. Luke and Haynes coming around the last corner into the pit straight. Across the finish line. I think he's starting a new lap, although that last lap was 146.8. There's a little bit of room for improvement. I'm sure you'd like to be a little bit further up. Jaco Kutzer, in the meantime, has jumped up to first position, pole position, by the slimmest of margins. And I'm sure it's going to be a back and forth between him and Robert Klopstra. Can see that Jaco is currently right on the edge of improving his lap time as he's coming around the second last corner. Thanks for that feedback. Brendan is indeed in Portugal. Jaco Kutzer does not improve his time. Well, he does improve his time. Does not improve his position because he's already in pole, so got another fraction of a second on Robert there. Gavin Scruton also in the McLaren, currently with a nice delta coming up to the heel of the boot. Should jump up a few positions. Josh Averley just gone off track. Not sure if he lost a little bit of grip or if that's actually just a little bit of an incident. Jacques Slater also abandons his lap on the second last corner. Sharp driving the 235 BMW from Trinity Racing. Lucas Hubert still out on track, trying to improve that lap times. Had a fairly decent first effort. You definitely want to improve on that lap time. As he comes around the last corner, how close can you get to the wall on the exit? Beautifully done. That was his out lap, getting the best line on the exit of the last corner, hoping to push this through right to the top of the hill into the chicane. First corner is so important to get a good run because it's flat out for about 1/3 of the whole course all the way through. You guys in chat should send me your real names so I can know who you are on track. Not sure what happened to Jackie Albert. He actually asked me to confirm his livery tonight, which I did put up, so it'll be a shame if it's also another ESCOM related incident. Michael, I will miss your black and gold liveried Ferrari, mate. Always nice to see that go around the track. Watkins is one of my favorite tracks, and there's times I wish I decided to race, but I do love watching you guys do your thing out on track. Etienne Mouton coming up to the toe of the boot. Currently have a good delta on, making up a good few positions. I still don't know if the two Moutons are related, Guillaume and Etienne. Not the most common surname. I would imagine they're related, at least somewhere along the line. Etienne coming up to the second last corner. He's a track to its full width. Will definitely have a better time, but will it be enough to jump up some positions? And he does jump up to 5th. Pretty good lap time. In fact, the guys are very, very close, all the way down to 16th. I see Jackie Alberts. 1 second separating the top 16 drivers. That is pretty close. Jason Landsberg and the Aston Martin. I think he is on another fast lap. It does look like it. Might actually be starting another fast lap. The only Aston Martin currently on track. That was his out lap. Aston Martin a few seasons ago was the car to have, and I know that feeling of having a car that you're familiar with. I used to drive the Bentley myself, and it was great when we switched to LFM balance of power. That allowed the Bentley to actually be competitive. As you can see, the Aston Martin is not being held back much. Got less than a minute left. Let's see who's out on track. Can Jason improve? He is currently on a better delta. Let's have a look. As Jackie Alberts comes around the last corner, hoping to jump a few positions. Had a bit of a late start due to some ESCOM issues. And he does jump up to 11th. Here we have Alex Pitro coming around the last corner as well. Touches the indicator, and he does not improve, but there's still time to go around and do another lap. Mario Senecal should be the last car, the first car, sorry, to get the checkered flag. And he stays in 17th for now. See if there's other cars who will try and jump up on those positions. Brendan Fenter again, currently in 20th in the 28 BMW. As we see, Jakob Kutzer goes into the pits. And Vic Petro jumps a few positions by putting up a decent lap time. Last car on track currently is Quinten Janssen van Rensburg who was in pole a few weeks ago, unfortunately started on the wrong tyres. Don't worry, that happens to the best of us. As we still have Jackie Albert, just catching a nice slide coming out of the corner there into the second last corner, and he abandons his lap. Obviously that little slip influenced his chance for a better lap time there. Alex still on the fast lap, still indicating that he's going to turn left around the right hand corner there. In the background we see Graham Mole bringing up the last spots on the grid, currently in 19th position, and that is your quali, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to show us who is in pole. Currently in pole, Jaco Kutzer beating out Robert Klopstra by the narrowest of margins. Let's see if I can do a little grid walk. First position, Jaco Kutzer in the 177 McLaren. Second position is Robert Klopstra, followed by Ulrich de Jager, Gavin Scruton and Etienne Mouton. Closely ahead of Guillaume Mouton. Wonder if there's some family rivalry happening on the team radios there. That'll be great. Again, I'm not sure if they are related. I would imagine at least they're friends. Mark Hennebree in 7th position, followed by Jason Landberg and Jonathan Chislett in 9th. Arne Kroos in a Porsche in 10th. Henry Platt had some great battles last week as well, currently in 11th, followed by Jackie Albert. Lucan Haynes and Quinten Janssen van Rensburg in 14th. Rob van den Heever also had great battles last week, 15th, followed by Vic Herbst. Mario Senekal 17th. Brendan Fenter in 18th. Graham Mole 19th. I know Graham told me earlier in the week he had no time to practice Watkins, but he's got no excuse. He's driven here plenty of times before. Alex Petro, 20th. Francois Haynes, 21st. Heinrich de Wet, 22nd. Lucas Hubert, 23rd. Jacques Slater, Vic Petro, Ron van der Walt, and Josh Averley in the Rowe BMW. 27th. Does appear that we've lost Abers as we get ready for the short outlap. As we come around the second last corner, there's hardly any time to warm up the wheels, the tires, the brakes. Jumping straight into this and see how the 90-minute race starts. Jaco Kutzer looking very eager to get this race going, and the Robert Klopstra not going to give him any room. Coming up to the line, waiting for the green flags, green lights. See if we can see it. There's a green flag and we're off. Everyone seems to be keeping it clean for now. A lot of positions changing. But Jaco's got it into turn 1 with Robert on the 6. Look further a little bit. Quinten Janssen van Rensburg goes a little wide in the first turn. 3-4 cars wide. A little bit of argy-bargy. And he's into the wall. I see that car 127 is also off. There's quite a few incidents. Quite a few yellow flags, some cars dropping back significantly. And we can see that from Lucan Haynes, there's quite a bit of a gap further back to some of the other cars, either taking it slow or avoiding some of the incidents. I left the vet as well, went a little wide then, went off track. As we go back to the front, we can see Yaku's still in the lead, followed closely by, and Yaku's got a drive-through penalty. That is a great way to start the race. I wonder if that was him out of position during the green flag. It's the only thing I can think of for a drive-through this early in the race. I must have missed it when it was announced early on. But he would be highly upset if it's a technicality like that. I wonder if he's going to serve it straight away and make up some positions on track, or if it wants to build a lead first. As I see the third car, Gavin Scruton, going a little bit wide there. Hilmuton under pressure from Ulrich de Jager. Jaco Kutzer does dive into the pits as he's going to serve that drive through straight away. That gives Robert the lead, and this could be interesting to see how this pans out at the end of the race. Everybody's still really close, fighting hard. See Mark Henry made up a position there. Jackie Albert's lost one. So see here, Mouton overtook Gavin Scruton there. Let's go back and have a look and see what happened there. As I come around, I believe it's the second corner coming up to the hill. There we go. Hume just has a really good run up the hill, right up close. Nothing he can do, right on the 6 with a great draft. Beamer's got quite a lot of pace, pulls on the inside into the chicane. Easy move, great move by Hume. Up into second, and then we'll look to replicate his win from last week. And I think someone in the comments would wish that they were on track to defend their current lead on the leaderboard. Great overtake. I can see some other guys also in the pits. Big Petro in the pits and Quinty Janssen van Rensburg. Looks like they both picked up some damage, probably from the first lap incident, and they'll be serving that. Big Herbst also in the pit. In there for quite a while. Hopefully it's still just a pit stop and not a withdrawal from the race. I see Jaco Kutzer in the pits. It does seem like he is 2 laps behind already, and it doesn't look like he's going to continue this race. Would be a great pity. Anybody knows Jaco's number, give him a call and say, come on mate, let's go out there and have some fun anyway. A drive through in the beginning of the race shouldn't ruin your whole race. Robert's black and orange Porsche really seems to be building up a bit of a gap to Hume. He's now almost 2.5 seconds ahead. Graham Mole seems to be going slow, got the white flag. Not sure if there's a little incident there. Porsches are quite popular again this season with the newer model that was released. Henry Platt coming up the hill into the straight, really building up great speed. Black and gold Ferrari. Weather is holding at the moment, but let's see for how long. Would be interesting to see a bit of a weather change. I agree, let's do some rain dancing. I don't know what that entails. Please don't send me any videos. But yeah, let's hope we get some rain. That'll be great. As we see Gavin Scruton pop into the pits. A lot of guys will do a short stint, do a quick splash and dash, and then do a long stint Some of the other guys will do the opposite way and do a splash and dash at the end. 3 laps in, do a quick stop. Strategy can win and lose a race for you. From here for successfully blocking Graham Mull from overtaking with another good run up the hill. I think Rob just lost the position to Maury Sinakol a couple of corners back. You can see these guys are forming a bit of a train coming up the hill. Platt chasing down Petro, and as we've seen so many times in this series, that the harder you defend, or the harder you attack, sorry, the harder you need to defend, because it slows you down for the car behind. So Alex leading this short little train of 5 cars, all fighting for 8th position at the moment. See from the comments that we got a drive through from our pole sitter because he was over the 70k speed limit required when you approach the green lights. Yeah, it takes a steely nerve, especially in pole position, to maintain a light foot coming into that green flag. Francois Haynes goes off track. Not sure if he lost any positions. Does seem like he lost 2 positions there. Car looks a little bit damaged. Let's have a look what happened. Coming into the straight. Right up to the chicane. There's a bit of late braking, and he clips just a little too much of the first part of the chicane, saves it for a little bit, and just could not complete the corner on the exit of the chicane. Unfortunate, but it could have been far, far worse than that. It's actually rather light. It looks bad, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. Revolt in the pits, so is Vic Petro. You see Lucas Hubert on his way out of the pits already. Francois Haynes, I'm told, is Luke and Haynes' father. Great to see father-son enjoying a hobby together. And we get a drive through for Mr. Hubert, Lucas Hubert. Let's have a look and see if that's track limits. That'll be speeding in the pits. I think he might have either on entry or exit of the pits just been a little bit too hasty. I'm going to drive through for that as well. Drive-throughs really can be a bit of a heartbreaker, especially some of these guys put in a lot of time in a week, hoping for a good run on the race, and then something like a drive-through can ruin your evening. Heinrich de Vet currently in a really good lap, got right up to the tail of Luke and Haynes we just spoke about. As I go up to the hill, to the chicane. Beg your pardon, it's to the heel of the boot. Porsche and BMW. German rivalry never ends. love to know what you guys think warrants a term old bully. Someone's father could be his bully, not necessarily an old bully. And I'm very sensitive to old bully comments. Trying to get a bit of a run coming into the chicane. No real chance there. Ruan van der Walt recently had an incident. Let's go see what happened there. No, it's just exiting the pits. Let's hope it's a clean exit. You got the yellow flag. Causing a yellow flag. Let's have a look. I see it slowing down on track. Gentleman behavior, allowing the faster cars to get past first before he accelerates. That's a good sports right there. 60 is the new 40. yeah, that's for sure, especially if you hit 40. Let's go back and have a look and see Ulrich de Jager put up the fastest lap. He's trying hard to catch up to Gio Mouton just ahead of him, and if he keeps up that sort of lap times, it will be no time at all. As they come up to the back straight where it's a perfect chance for a bit of a slipstream, a bit of a tow into the chicane, can he make it stick? Goes to the inside line, has a bit of a look. I don't think he's close enough. Oh, and he's... Oh, does he stick it? Does he stick it? No, he doesn't. And that is a hard T-bone into the wall there. Ulrich de Jager had a prime opportunity to make a run on Gio Mouton. And the commentator's curse strikes again as he hits that wall really hard. I'm expecting a few seconds of lap time to come off with the aero damage. Ferrari has definitely seen better days. Let's wait and see if he pits early to try a new strategy. I'm sure the pit wall will suggest that for him anyway. Can see Jackie Alberts right on Arne Gross's tail. Similar blue and black livery, but also very, very different. Yep, that's the bus stop's first real victim. It can be so tricky, especially if you're under the attack. Trying to not just make the car stick through the chicane, but also try and do it quicker than the guy just ahead or just behind you. So add a bit of pressure. Just what we need to have an entertaining race. Ulrich de Jager does pull into the pit, so I assume the damage is quite severe. Mario Cynical, meanwhile, is having a nice open road ahead of him for various reasons, pit stops, etc. He's got Henry Platt chasing him down, but holding firm in 7th position. And the 888 BMW. Jacques Slater also in a BMW. Clean air ahead and behind. Does look like his BMW has a bit of damage in the front, but the lap times are consistent, and yeah, there's still a long ways to go for this race to be over. Mark Henneberry in the meantime has snuck up to 4th position and is giving Jason Landsberg a good view in his rear view mirrors of the blue and orange Lamborghini. Let's stick with this for a little bit and see if anything changes up the hill into the straight. There's a chance for a nice overtake there. Keep an eye on Brendan Fenter as he's 2nd in the championship. I will do for sure. At the moment he's in 12th position. Okay, Mark's definitely having a look. Trying to get a little bit closer. Goes on the outside to get a better entry to the chicane. Hoping for a better exit. But Jason is not giving him much of a look at all. Graham Mole in the meantime is still trying to get past Henry Platt, who's now caught up to Marius Senecal. And the 3 of them are forming a little bit of a train here. You can see just behind them is also quite a nice train forming with Jonathan Chislett, beg your pardon, and Alex Petro. Brendan Fenter in the mix as well. As you can see them coming around the toe of the boot. Peak just to let him know that he's there, but Jonathan is not falling for it. Stay steady. I can see Mark Henneberry in the meantime has pulled into the pits after about 20 minutes, just shy of 20 minutes. He's dropping down from 4th position. If ever there's a chance for Alex to make a run on it now, it's the exit from the exit of turn 1 all the way to the chicane. Flat out up the hill. Quickest corners we'll find. No need to lift at all, as I can see just behind. Brendan Fenter having to defend from Heinrich de Vet. Very, very sloppy chicane, but he might have done enough to keep Heinrich behind him. Oh, and we can see there's an incident. Alex Petro had an incident with, I think it might have been a black flag. Let's have a look. Hopefully I can catch this on a replay. No, the car's already there, the 52 from Josh Averley. Let's have a look and see if we can see what happened. Yeah, another chicane. Oh, and the sausage curbs just makes him lose the rear. Hit the brakes to allow other cars to come past. It's unfortunate, but it could have been far worse. And he's back on track, and we'll see now if he's had a run into the pits to alleviate some of that damage and the reduced lap times. Current track conditions, nice and sunny, 24 degrees. The track, 29 degrees. Nice and clear. Doesn't seem to be any rain predicted, but yeah, I can have a look. I can have a hope. Brendan Fenter pulls into the pits with a terrible looking front end from 16th position. That looks like I might have missed something happen there as well. Does not look great at all. Both him and Lucan Haynes looking terrible in the pits. It's not the way you want to see any BMW. Heinrich de Wet in the meantime has a little incident. Go back and have a look. Is he going to get the bump? Coming into the chicane again. And no, this is exactly what the people wanted. The bus stop incidents. A little bit too hard on the throttle. Overcorrects, bit of a tank slapper, and avoids all the walls. That is how you want to mess up in the chicane. The bus stop needs to be parked properly instead of getting any damage. Did lose a few positions there, but he still currently finds himself in 13th. All is not lost. Someone keeping track of the bus stop incidents. It'll be very interesting to see exactly how many we have in the bus stop. I think that's at least 3 now. Brendan Fent is still in the pits. This does not look good. He is on the way though. Great. Let's see him bring this back. Definitely chances for a couple of positions to be made up. If this is a full pit stop, he is a lap or 2 behind, but that should not deter him from making up a few positions. Jacques Slater, I think he's just ahead of is that our leader, Robert? Yeah, that's Robert Klopstra in first position. Already catching all the way up to 17th. And a true gentleman moves over to let the faster car past. Of course, there's no need for him to do that. The rule says you should not fight for your position, and it's the onus is on the driver overtaking to make a clean overtake. But it also helps having a friendly bunch of guys who's just here to have fun first and foremost. Arne Kroos in 4th position, with Jackie Alberts steaming up to his rear. I'd love to get some of these Porsches close together. Last week you had a nice choir of Porsche engines. Yeah, nothing sweeter. Vic Herbst pulling into the pits. Nice bright AMD livery. Hopefully it's a proper sponsorship and not just free advertising. Vic Petro in a similarly coloured Porsche to Alex's Lambo. Currently in 25th position. Completed both his pit stops already. This is going to be quite a long stint if this is his final stint. Although I do think an hour on one set of tyres should be manageable. Marius Abers in 28th position. Racing for the Racing Snails. Just because someone is in last position does not mean they're a snail. like I said, everyone's here to have fun. Jakob Kutzer is back on track. Glad to see he's back out there, even if it's just for a bit of practice. 4 laps behind the leader already. But that shouldn't deter anyone from going back on track and having some fun. Shark Slater with another little incident. Let's go back and have a look and see how bad that was. I see, let's Landsberg through, and it's just a bit slower on track, making nice room for the other cars. Nothing wrong with that. Robert Klopstra coming up to the bus stop after completing 15 laps. Just over an hour left. This Porsche still looks rock steady around all the corners. Haven't made any pit stops yet. I'm sure that those will come a little bit later, obviously. Just for those not sure of the rules, each driver is required to make 2 pit stops, and they have to add at least 1 liter of fuel per pit stop. That means that you can decide on a strategy. You don't have to change tires, but a 90-minute race, it would be ideal to change tires. I think the drop-off after about an hour, 10 minutes is severe enough that you would want to warrant a pit stop for tires. And if you're going to add a lot of fuel, you may as well change the tires at the same time. As he comes around to complete lap 16. Crosses the line. Still with really consistent lap times. 146, 147s. 147 coming through some slower traffic. Nice and steady. Gio Mouton currently in second position. Not too far behind, about 4 seconds. Jason Landsberg about another 10 seconds back from that. Shark Slater finally pulls into the pits to take care of that damage. Let's hope that it's not too severe. Luke and Haynes takes that opportunity to make up a few positions for those in the pits. He's already done 1 pit stop. Let's have a look who we haven't really spent a lot of time with. Rob van den Heever, currently in 13th position. Empty track ahead and behind. Every lap's a quali lap now. It's just you and the road. You can really get down and push your best lap times with the racing line, ideal racing line, without having to fight for position. You won't have a bit of a drag, a bit of a tow, but it doesn't mean the lap times need to suffer. He is seemingly catching a BMW ahead, but it's a lapped car. Let's hope that this doesn't affect his lap times too much. But it's all part of GT3 racing. In a 90-minute race, there's bound to be... Oh, and we've got another yellow flag there for Josh Averley again. Let's have a look what happens here. Car still looks clean coming into the replay. Just goes a little wide, clips the grass, And that is a bit of a pinball, side to side. Finally hits the brake, slows it down. Where did he go? Tries to keep a little bit of momentum going while he waits for the car to other cars to pass, but that is running along the wall now, and I'm not sure if that's going to help his chances of getting back into this race. I suspect some steering damage there. Still trying to get back on track, and it's not working for him at the moment. Taking out the advertising signs, Amazon Web Services would be upset, and he decides to tow to pits. That could potentially be a race ruining for Josh. Brendan Fenter with a bit of an attempt to climb back up the rankings for this race, currently in 20th position. Right behind Lucas Hubert as they enter the bus stop. Hopefully I won't be jinxing anyone else. Maybe I should just not watch the bus stop at all. See the guys in the comment talk about turbo. When I read Racing Snails, I was going to ask if anybody has seen Turbo. I believe it's Ryan Reynolds, the voice of Turbo. That is one fast snail, so don't let snails convince you that they are slow. Mario Cynical and the 888 BMW, still looking clean and fresh. That's what you want your cars to look like after 35 minutes of racing, 33 minutes. And Ulrich de Jager got a stop go 30. That can only mean that there was speeding in the pits. It's been going from bad to worse for Ulrich, having a few incidents earlier on. Now having completed both his pit stops with 56 minutes left, the stop go is not what you want. Ah, I see our leader has come into the pits for his first pit stop. I was a bit concerned seeing him drop down the order there, but it's the first pit stop of 2, and that means that Guillaume again is the leader of the race. Guillaume surprised himself last week with the win. Was worried about the 2 Porsches chasing him down, but managed to hold out. Jason Landsberg in the Aston Martin, currently in 2nd position, still to do his pit stops, but there's still 55 minutes left. Lots can happen. Car 75, yes, a stop-go penalty is normally when he's speeding in the pits. Not quite sure what it is, but he is serving that stop-go already. Gavin Scruton, caught a nice little drift there in the McLaren. It's not the ideal place to try and do some Tokyo drifting. We held it nicely. As we see the car behind him. So the car behind him is Mr. Hubert in the Ferrari. This is your relative positioning at the moment on track, which can make it a bit easier to see the blue cars, especially towards the end of the race. Definitely be calling on to this leaderboard every now and then. Was my biggest complaint last week, was calling action on track when it is leaders overtaking blue flags. Jonathan Chislett, Graham Mole, not too far apart on track. Still seem to be 4 cars on track following nicely, nice and close. And Gross doing really well again this week. Currently finds himself in 3rd. Coming into the last corner. We should get a camera closer to the wall. See how many guys actually touch that wall. Jackie Albert's currently in 4th position. The new livery for the week looks a little bit scuffed up in places. Just means you're pushing the limits. How close can you get to those walls? As they say, rubbing is racing. So if you get close to another car, it's all good. Jonathan Chislett still gaining a bit of ground on Graham Mole ahead. There's definitely certain sectors on track where he seems to be closing the gap a lot, like in the speedy sections, and then when it gets a little bit more technical, it seems like Graham has the upper hand there. Henry Platt goes off towards the toe of the boot. And that Ferrari's looking worse for wear. Let's have a look and see what happened there. There, the car already looks a bit bad. As it comes down into the boot, goes a little wide again, similar as we've seen earlier. Just goes a little too wide, clips the grass, and there's no grip at all, and the rear kicks out. And that Ferrari definitely needs more than just a good polish. I'm sure he'll be coming into the pits shortly to take care of that damage. Robert Klopstra in the meantime overtakes Henry Platt to come into 8th position. As Henry pulls into the pits. And Jonathan Chislett finally makes it past Graham Mole. Let's have a look at this move. It looks like it happened into turn 1 as I come around the last corner. Who goes wide? He's just so close. Nothing much the Porsche can do. Has a little peek into turn 1. Decides to stick on the better racing line. Graham has a little slip, and that cost him a position a little early on the gas while he's still on the curb. And that means Jonathan Chislett up to 6th with Graham Mole now from the defensive onto the offensive as they come up to the toe of the boot. Yeah, Henry turned that Ferrari into an Uno. It seems to be quite a bit shorter than it was when he started the race. Let's have a look at some of the other drivers. Vic Herbst having a quiet race, keeping his nose clean and his car tidy. Nothing to report, which is what you want from a race like this where there's been quite a few incidents. Same can be said for Quintian van Rensburg, currently in 17th position, driving for KSR Racing. So keeping the lap times nice and consistent. I can see that Jonathan Chislett has lost position to Graham Mole again. This back and forth is a lot of fun to watch, and it seems Graham just has the better run up the hill into the straight. Wiper blades on. I don't know if that means there's rain on track or if Graham's just optimistic. There's a little bit of a nudge. He does have the inside, and Jonathan thinks better than to fight too hard, thinking there's another chance later on. As we get back to live, I can see Jonathan. I can imagine he's not too happy. A little bit of elbows out. That was a nice, fair overtake by Graham. Graham Mole driving for Team Karugma Racing. One of my former teammates. Really nice guy. If there's an incident on track, you can bet your bottom socks it's nothing intentional. Lucan Haynes with the stop-go. That is gonna really throw things up in the air. Completing both his pit stops in 20th position, has a stop-go, speeding in the pits. You can see some of the other guys pulling in now. We're reaching the halfway stage of the race. Quite a few guys just go with an even 50-50 split on the fuel. And it's right about this time on the race in which you'll see guys pulling into the pits. Etienne Mouton, Mark Hennebury, both in the pits. Vic still parking at Porsche there for the last couple of laps. I think that Vic is out of this race. Gavin Scruton making up 2 positions past the guys in the pits. Alex Petra also making up some positions. Arne Kroos overtakes Jason Landsberg, who's actually in the pits. And that pushes Jackie up into the podiums as well, although he has not done any pit stops yet. After 25 laps, the top 6 guys are yet to make a pit stop. One of those, Jason Landsberg, currently in the pits, as Lucan Haynes goes into the pits to serve his stop-go 30 seconds. I do see a little bit of drizzle. It might actually start to rain. That would be an amazing twist. Just what this race needs with about half a race left. Let's hope that's indeed what I see and not just some rubbish on screen. It does seem to be a bit of rain. really see anything, and he turns the wipers on. This is a good sign for those who wanted to see rain. It could be coming. As we're on board with Jackie Alberts. Reaches for the wiper blade switch, and this could really throw a spanner in the works for those who just pitted. Those front guys who are yet to pit, Gio Mouton pulls into the pits, and I expect he'll switch over to the wet tyres. Unfortunately, I will not be having that information to see which tyres they have on. But this will be really interesting to see as the track transitions from a dry to a wet track. It's always the tricky part. When do you switch to wets? When do you keep your slicks on? How many laps do you push on that set of tyres? Arne Kroos and Jackie Alberts both elect not to go into the pits as they go around another time. Clearly not wet enough just yet for a set of tyres, a set of wets. I'm going to need a sip of coffee before we get into the proper wet race, because this is going to get interesting. Depending on the rain, it could take normally about a lap or two for it to really get greasy, slippery. And once you start seeing the reflections of the cars in the road, you know it's proper wet. A whole bunch of guys pulling into the pits from 15th on. Etienne Mouton currently in the pits as well as Jacques Slater. I really wish I could get the information on who is on wets and who is not. And I see Jacques Slater is actually disqualified. That is very unfortunate for anyone in this division to get a DQ. It could be for not serving an earlier pit stop, or when you come into the pits too quick that they decide that it is reckless and not just worthy of a stop go, but an instant disqualification. Mark Hennebree. I need to try and keep track of who has pitted since it started raining. It doesn't seem like heavy rain at the moment, so that should all be good for now. Graham Old pulling into the pits. 41 minutes left of this race. He was in about third position, I believe, completing his first pit stop. And we want to see what set of tyres he puts on. Jackie Alberts currently leading this race. I can see coming to the bus stop it's a little bit more shaky than before, and the lap times have dropped significantly down to 151s, where before it was in the 146s. Taking it extra cautious as he goes around once again, hoping to build up a lead, a bigger lead, to Jonathan Chislett in second place, who's about 16 odd seconds further back. Robert Klopstra, in the meantime, has caught up to Jonathan Chislett, as he's already made his first pit stop and should end up as the net leader after the first round of pit stops. Is he going to take the position from Jonathan? He's a little bit slippery on the exit there. A little late on the brakes, hoping to cut back, gain some more speed to make a run on into turn 1. He might actually be too close for that, as he needs to gain a little bit of space. Has a better line, definitely has more grip. You can tell he's already had that first pit stop, with Jonathan's tyres are definitely not great in this weather. And they are old. Is he going to take a dive into the first turn? He does. Jonathan does not put up a big fight. Well, he's still there on the outside, but I think Robert is cleanly through into second place for now. Jason Landsberg finds himself in nice clean air. Already completed one pit stop. It was a couple of laps ago. Should have... Let's have a look. He pitted at the 45-minute mark, so about 3 or 4 laps on these tyres. Might have just been one of those who pitted a little soon for a new set of slicks. And a bit of drizzle could catch him out later. If it stays like this, it should be fine. It doesn't seem to be too heavy rain. Just enough to make you doubt, should I pit, should I not pit? Should I change those tyres? Is it time? Will I really be that much quicker or that much slower on the slicks? Marius Abers, a couple of laps behind, about 2 laps or so. Racing Snails McLaren. I'm pretty sure the Turbo fans would be happy to see him on track and still going strong. Thanks, Zoot. I'll quickly go and have a look. Let's have a look. We suspected Hugh Mouton, a previous leader, made a couple of jumps up because Jackie Alberts and Robert Klopstra is back in the pits, Robert. So that could be a change to some wets. Let's have a look on the onboard if it will actually show us the tyre temps. Pressures are 0, so obviously it's information you cannot see in the broadcast mode, unfortunately, to prevent you from sending information to the opposition. That's unfortunate. Alex Bitra in the meantime comes up to first corner, just completed the first corner, 1 pit stop down. And Graham Moll comes into the pits again for his second stop. That could mean that he's decided to switch to the wets as well. Rob van Heever comes past in a Ferrari. Just want to have a look at the lap times. See, Robert Klopstra obviously has a high lap time because he just completed a pit stop. Everyone else out on track is doing around the 150s, 151s, where the previous best lap times were in the 147. So it's a couple of seconds slower, not quite slow enough to want to switch to wets yet, I think. It really is tricky to decide, but if it stays like this, I can see a bit of a racing line form, a bit of a dry line. It should be okay if you can keep it into the 150s. Jonathan Chislett yet to make a pit stop on that first set of sticks. Nearly almost an hour into this race. And he seems to make him stick. So it cannot be that wet out there if you have old tires in the wet. Jason Landsberg having a bit of a quiet race in the Aston Martin, up into the net first position, only 6 seconds behind Jonathan Chislett, but he's already completed a pit stop. Hugh Mouton in third position, also completing a pit stop, is about 9 seconds behind Jason. It all depends on the length of those pit stops, but still. Looking really good. Rob van den Heever is the front runner for those who's completed both pit stops. Currently in 8th. Jonathan Chislett, I thought, is coming into the pits. His lap time his delta just dropped significantly, so he's into the pits. Nice and extra safe coming into the pits, having seen a couple of drive-throughs and stop-goes. With just over half an hour left, Jonathan can still end up with a really great final position, taking that first stint to its limits. Robert Klopstra also back in the pits for what I believe is his 3rd pit stop. Not quite sure if he's deciding to switch to wets early, or if he was on a wet and found it wasn't working. It does seem like that's... game crash. That is unfortunate for Robert. He was having a real stormer of a race. F in the comments. That's really unfortunate. Robert was showing great pace today. And it seems like Graham Moll just unlapped himself from Landsberg. No, was there an incident? Does seem like he's got a 3-second delta. Let's go back and have a look and see if anything particular happened. I think Jason was about to lap Graham and had a little bit of an incident into the corner. I see what happened. He was about to lap him, and Graham decided to rather maintain the line, the dry line, as you can see a little bit there on track. Much to do about nothing. Mouton slowly closing the gap, although that was after a bit of a slow lap from Jason, so still about 6 seconds behind in 2nd position, and Arne Kroos quite some way off in 3rd, with Jackie Alberts in 4th. Jonathan Chislett about 25 seconds, 24 seconds behind them as well, finally completing that first pit stop, and the long first stint seems to be paying off, as he is still in 5th position. Does seem to be going quite a bit slower. Again, it's about 30 seconds slower. Could be because... no, he's coming into the pits again. That's his 2nd pit stop. Again, nice and slow into the pit entry, and he could be there for a little while. Let's head back to Jason. Again, it's quite a bit slower than his previous lap. And you can see the times there. Hume is now closing that gap faster and faster. Kevin Scruton just getting past Marius Senekal. Still having a nice close battle as Mario seems to be coming back into the pits, the back straight. Who's got the biggest kahunas coming into the bus stop? Mario Senekal gets past, and Gavin decides not to put up a big fight, rather focusing on the long race ahead. Still half an hour, 29 minutes remaining. In the lead currently, Jason Landsberg, followed by Guillaume Mouton, and Arne Kroos about 20 seconds behind him. Jackie Albert also a bit in clean air there. No one close in front or behind. Rob van der Heever is about 40 seconds behind him. Enough for a quick splash and dash into the pits for Jackie to maintain position. That pit stop will end up being crucial. Mari Senekal, 6th position. Gavin Scruton not too far behind him. Mark Hennebury in 8th. And I think what is only the 2nd Lamborghini today. Graham Mull, another 15 seconds behind him. With, I believe, Gio Mouton about to lap Graham as well. Gives him plenty of space, and Gio goes past him. Alex Petro, the brightest livery on track, in 10th position. Could mean some good points for Alex here. Lucan Haynes definitely had a bit of an incident. Lost about 30 seconds. And again, the incident is him slowing out of the pits to allow other drivers past, I believe. Let's hope that's all it is and not a slippery ascent up the hill. Looks pretty good from here. And that delta was purely because he's just come out the pits. Ruan van der Walt in the Panda City or Pandacity. Currently driving the 99 McLaren in 23rd position. Everyone with their wipers on. Nice drizzle, still nothing severe enough to wet the track. You can see in some of the lines, I do see a little bit of a water pooling there. As Ruan goes a little bit wide, it could be getting a little bit wetter as the racing line up that little hill, up from the heel of the boot, is definitely not as pronounced as it was about 5 minutes ago, and it does seem like the rain is coming down a little heavier, which means that those who chose to stuck it out on the slicks might have to come into the pits for those wets now and gain that extra pit stop, although most people have already done both pit stops, so it'll be a penalty for everyone at the same time. If you have a look at the lap times in general, most folks are still hanging around the 151, 152s. You can see Arden Kraus just did a 205. I'm not sure if that was a pit stop, I might have missed that, but a 205 is not that great. Jonathan Chislett now at the pits. In 12th position, hoping to not drop down any further. See, everyone is on slower laps at the moment, most having just completed some of their slowest laps of the day. Best lap times were in the 146s, but that was on the dry track. On the wet track, we're nearly 10 seconds slower. Gio Mouton back in 1st position, with Jason about 12 seconds behind. And really seem to be struggling now. Not quite sure, and there's definitely been an incident. I hope I've got enough time on the replay to catch that. Just missed it, as it seems to be in the pit entry. No, that was the turn 1. Sorry, that's a pit exit there into turn 1. And our leader of the race jinxed him by saying he had a nice quiet race, have a massive incident into turn 1, and lost the lead in the process, and now has fallen back about 15 seconds, maybe even more by the time the replay ends, from Gio Mouton, who again is leading a race. Jason will not be happy, and the Aston Martin fans will not be happy either. There's a lot of potential for Jason to get some silverware in the cabinet. Is he going to push through? He's not pitting, so he thinks the damage is not enough just yet. As Graham Mole has an incident into turn 1 as well. Let's have a little look back and see what caused this. It might be something. Oh, there's another car on track. That's this last corner, and that I believe is. Oh, he goes for the defensive line on Mr. Petro there. Goes back to the racing line. Is he going to make a clean overtake, or is it going to be a bit of a tap? No, he loses it all by himself. And that is another position or two that Graham lost. Luckily no damage, just a bit of it. Looks like he stalled the car. Tries to get off the racing line, and he's back on track, dropping down to 12th position. Alex Petro still indicating, at least this time is indicating right. This being a clockwise track, there should be more right turns than left. Brendan Fenter not doing too badly, considering he's in a BMW. Actually putting up some decent lap times at the moment, considering the weather, which does seem to have dried up a bit. Some areas of the track seems to be drying up with some racing lines forming. And those dry lines is what you want to aim for. And Mouton pulls into the pits for a second stop from the lead. He's got a nice lead over Jason Landsberg, who's also pulling into the pits finally. I think you might have noticed that the lap times were just too bad, or he's due for a pit stop anyway. And that means that Jackie Alberts will come through to lead the race. No, he's also pulling into the pits, and the top 3 drivers who have yet to make their final pit stop are all pitting on the same lap. Any strategy for a short stop this late in the race could gain you a position or two, could save your podium. Arne Kras, who's coming up to the second last corner, could gain a podium position as he's done all his pit stops already. Say that, Rob van den Heever sneaks past into the last corner. Let's go back and have a little look there. Rob van den Heever definitely has a quick line through those few corners, as he's already on the inside coming into the second last corner. Side by side, Arden Kroos decides not to fight too hard, and Rob van den Heever is up into second place, as I think Guillaume Mouton has left the pits in time to hold first place. Let's have a look. Guillaume Mouton still in first place. Rob van den Heever now in second. Out of nowhere, Rob keeping that Ferrari on pace on the podium. Arne Kras in third place. Jason Landsberg having to repair the Aston, although looking at that it doesn't look like it's repaired much, and he just had a normal pit stop up into fourth. Aston is not out of it yet. There's still chances. Mario Senekal in fifth position, as I mentioned earlier, keeping that BMW nice and clean, although that hood does look like it's got a bit of a dent. Maybe he pulled the latch by mistake. Gavin Scruton in sixth position. I don't predict many of these guys still pitting, as they've completed their 2 pit stops. Jackie Alberts following closely behind as the 2 McLarens look to battle it out on track. Behind them is Mark Hennebury in the Lamborghini, followed by Alex Petro in the brightly colored Lamborghini, 7 odd seconds behind. Henry Platt yet to make his final pit stop in 10th position, and that rounds out the top 10 at the moment. With Jonathan Chislett about 12 seconds behind, I can imagine that Henry will lose his top 10 position if he were to pit for the end of the race, which he has to. Jackie Alberts take Gavin Scruton coming up to the line. Will make an excellent marketing photo for the McLaren team. Let's see where he lines that up from. Second last corner. Gets a good run. And it looks like Gavin goes a little wide, which gives Jackie the chance to pull alongside without even needing the toe across the line, head to head. Nice, neat overtake by Jackie there. And I think Gavin had another little incident. No, that's still the same incident. Gavin dropping back quite significantly, so he might have been a little bit slow on track for some reason. He's already 3.5 seconds behind Jackie. Vic Herbst currently in 17th position, just completing another lap, his 36th lap. And I see Marius Abush has a bit of an incident. It's just slowing down to come into the pits to serve a stop-go penalty. I missed the stop-go. That Snail is going to take it nice and easy through the pits here, have a little break, and then carry on with the race. Like I said earlier, there's nothing more frustrating than having a stop-go penalty this late in the race, especially. Unfortunate. Quinton Janssen van Rensburg, another fast driver. Going up the hill in his BMW, 878. There's definitely still a bit of a drizzle on track, but not enough seemingly for them to change to another set of tires. The lap times would suggest that they're all still on slicks. Henry Platt, one of only 2 cars on track, still to complete his pit stop. He has until about 1 minute before the end of the race to complete that pit stop. Jason Landsberg up into 2nd place, having just overtaken Rob van den Heever. Did Rob have a little incident? Let's have a look. No, Jason stays on the wet part of the track. I suspect he's got some wet tyres on that he's trying to keep cool down. As Rob goes a little wide, bit of a tank slap, a similar incident to what we just saw between Graham Mill and I think Jonathan Chislett earlier. And it ends up being quite an easy overtake, and I suspect that as the track gets a little bit wetter in places, the wet tyres has a bit more grip into the tight corners, and that allows Jason to make the moves into the tight corners where the slicks are a little bit quicker in the straights probably. It's right at this limit of slicks versus wets where the race gets super interesting. Hello Bertus, welcome to the stream, thank you very much. It's a good race to come and have a look-see at. See Jason there just a little hard on the throttle, loses the rear, well not lose, just goes a little bit wobbly. And we can see him slowly closing the gap to Guillaume Mouton, but I think unless Guillaume does something silly, he's got another win in the bag. So we have a look. Coming up the hill, really outperforming his own expectations for the season. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's also on the wet tyres as he goes a little bit off the racing line to cool those wets down. Definitely looking a little bit more shiny in places. Lucas Hubert in 16th position, trying to catch the guys ahead. But I see he's got about 94 seconds to Brendan Fenter in 15th position, so a nearly impossible ask. Ruan van der Walt in 21st position, still has a pit stop left as well. 99 McLaren goes wide into the first turn, but keeps it in the straight, pointing the right way at the end. Mario Senecal, who I earlier said is keeping his car nice and clean with a little bit of a ding on the front end there. Let's see if he repaired that in his pit stop, as he's now completed both his pit stops. Either that's bad manufacturing from BMW, with the panel gaps being huge, or there is a slight bump on the front on the hood of that car. Still keeps it around track, nice and steady. Mario looking to get some good points in 6th position with now just 7 minutes remaining. We asked for the rain. Came in little drips and drabs. Clear racing lines forming again, where some of the guys you can see goes off the racing line, cooling the tyres in the wet. Henry Platt is the other driver, yet to make his last pit stop. Some of these cars do look a little squirmy around the corners. No one willing to push the limits of that last corner, getting close to the wall. And we'll try and keep it nice and clean. Quentin Janssen van Rensburg. 14th position. As he comes around the toe of the boot down to the heel. Not too many incidents. Nothing to write home about. Just a nice steady performance from Quentin today. Oh, nice little drift. Keeps it pointing the right way. And if he keeps that up, should be no hassles for him. As we come up to the 5-minute mark, let's have a look at our current standings. Currently in first position, Gio Mouton with a nice 15.5 second lead over Jason Landsberg. Jason in the Aston that could, still going strong. Had a nice strategy. And it seems like he's on the wets maybe. I suspect it is. No way of telling for sure. We'll have a look as he comes down the straight. Definitely goes onto the wet line to cool those tyres down. Third position, Rob van den Heever in a Ferrari. The fastest Ferrari out on track today, overall. But he should not get too comfortable, as Arne Kroos again is having a battle for the podium. Same thing last week when he was fighting Graham Mole for the podiums. Or for second place actually. Arne looking to get a second podium in a row at least. Come back to this a little bit later and see what Arne can pull out the hat here. As in 5th position, Jackie Alberts in his new livery. 5th position. About 10 seconds behind Arne and 10 seconds ahead of Marius Senekal, I just mentioned earlier. Is in a 888 BMW. A little bit of no man's land as far as competition's going, but there's some other cars on track. So again, he goes a bit wide. I think that Beamer will be happy to see the end of this race. Alex Pitro in 7th position. Anyone can see that car coming from a mile away. Followed closely by Mark Hennebury. Well, closely about 18 seconds back, pardon. And another 18 back to Jonathan Chislett in 9th, with Gavin Scruton a further 6 seconds behind him, rounding up the top 10. With Graham Mole only about 1.2 seconds behind, and I know that Graham would want a top 10 finish for this race, as he's really gaining some time on Gavin, as Gavin had to put up with some blue flag drivers, and I think, no, he's not going to make a move now. Let's go back a few seconds to see that incident, as Gavin has definitely lost some time in the bus stop due to a blue flag car. There's a blue flag. Gavin needs to make a clean overtake. No reason for the car in 20th position. I think that is Rowan van der Walt. Even though there's no need for him to do it, he does go off the racing line to let him pass, and that's all the invitation that Graham needs to really close that gap. But as we get back to the live footage, we can see Graham has fallen back a little bit again. In 12th position, Henry Platt. Gold and black Ferrari. Only about 2 seconds behind Graham. Heinrich de Wet in 13th. Lucky 13 is 22 seconds behind. Followed by Quentin Janssen van Rensburg and Brendan Fent, who just had a little bit of an incident. I think just to slow down. Let's have a look and see if there's anything worthy of reporting. As we see Mr. Pitro chasing him down. But I don't think that's for the same position. I think Alex is in 7th. And yeah, I think that is just Brendan slowing down on the straight to let Alex pass without any further incident. Nicely done, sir. Then in 16th position we have Lucas Hubert. Quite a way back from Brendan, and another minute or so behind is Vic Herbst in 17th. Lucan Haynes 18th. Etienne Mouton in 19th. And then I think we getting to some of our guys. Ulrich de Jager, who had a really bad string of incidents, as our current one of our fastest laps, I think. Could be corrected there. Was quite a bit higher up earlier on. Ruan van der Walt, 21st position, has a stop-go penalty. That would really hurt with 30 seconds left in the race. As we have a look at Guillaume Mouton, he's coming up to the last few corners. If he slows down a bit, he can finish this race without having to do another lap, and I think they might just be able to do that. 10 seconds left. I think he might have to do another lap unless he slows down. He's got enough of a buffer. It's about 30 seconds down to Jason Landsberg, and Guillaume comes around the last corner. Definitely not going to have to do another lap. That's time. There's a checkered flag. Guillaume Mouton, second win in a row. Great performance yet again, nice and steady. Nothing to write home about other than the win. Jason Landsberg brings the Aston Martin, the little Aston that could, into second place and a nice podium position. Rob van den Heever in third position. Can't get too comfortable as Arno is closely behind. But Arno shouldn't rest on his laurels as Jackie Albert is about to take that position from him for fourth. Jackie goes a little wide, looks for the cutback. No, he decides to stay on the outside. Is he going to make it stick? Coming down to the line. Jackie does take it. Jackie ahead of Arno on the line. What a finish. Brilliant finish there for fourth place. Jackie in fourth, Arno in fifth. Mario Senecal coming around to take sixth position. And I can see Graham Mole, is really chasing down Jonathan Chislett to try and make that stick as we get back to Alex Petro. Crossing the finishing line with a nice buffer to Mark Hennebury just behind him. Well, about 20 seconds, 25 seconds behind. In the second Lamborghini. Jonathan Chislett and Graham Mole. Again, Graham really leaving it to the last few corners of a race to try and make a move. Having a look on the inside. Is he going to try and push through? He does have the inside corner. Make it stick. It's getting a bit squirty. Side by side coming into the last corner, and I think Jonathan Chislett might just have it unless Graham takes it inside. Graham next to Jonathan. Is he going to take it? Is he? Graham does indeed take the position. 9th position from Jonathan by mere split seconds. Jonathan rounds out the top 10. He should be a bit disappointed with losing that position at the end, as that is our top 10. Currently on track is only Gavin Scruton as he comes around. I'm trying to see where he is. That's the last corner, coming to the checkered flag. And that is our race. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here on RaceFace, as this was the third race for the 17th season. Thank you everyone in the chat. It was fun hanging with you and watching this race, commentating on it. Definitely hope to see you guys next week. It was a lot of fun. Well done to our top 3, Guillaume Mouton, Jason Landsberg and Rob van den Heever. Good close racing and a lot of fun. Here's hoping to see you guys next week. Thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, go have a look at the pro race and see how some of those guys perform. I'm sure you'll be very proud of how the AM guys handled themselves tonight, especially with the changing weather conditions and some tricky strategies coming into play. Have a good night. God bless.